discuss with node operators, the people who are running the software that makes Chainlink possible. From price feeds to cross-chain to automation, these are the folks who allow the space and DeFi to run today. So without further ado, please, guys, come on stage. Thank you. Perfect. All right. Thank you all. So let's start with some introductions, going from on this side, basically. Tell us more about what you guys do and what your companies do in a few words.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eric Carlson. I'm a partner with a business called Rhino. Thank you very much, one person. We're a Chainlink node operator, and we also run infrastructure for a large number of L1s in the ecosystems.
Hi, I'm Kubilay Özçelik. I'm the CEO of Matrix Link. We are a verified Chainlink node operator. We run custom Chainlink solutions. We create custom Chainlink solutions. We maintain nodes for a few projects. We run infrastructure for projects. And we mainly focus on building Chainlink stuff.
I'm Pat McNabb, one of the co-founders and CEO of Peer2. We are a blockchain infrastructure company, been eagerly supporting the Chainlink network for a few years now, and it's been exciting to see that evolve, but also focused on Ethereum staking and validation across a bunch of other networks.
I'm Peter van Maurik. I'm the CFO nowadays of Chainlayer. We're a Chainlink node operator, staking service provider, and we run a bunch of Ethereum validators. And yeah, we've been a Chainlink node operator since almost the beginning.
I'm Zale Reeves, founder of Northwest Nodes. So we are probably one of the newest node operators on the Chainlink ecosystem, and that's our focus at this time. And yeah, we're based out of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates.
Perfect. I think some of you joined us a few years ago. Some of you joined us more recently. Maybe you can tell us more about what inspired you to become Chainlink node operators.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we won the last iteration of the Oracle Olympics, and the biggest inspiration for us was the Oracle Olympics and the very first SmartCon that was ran, where we kind of realized we've been in the ecosystem for quite a while, big supporters, and we realized that there was actually an avenue for kind of more community members like us to actually get involved and have that potential to get onboarded onto Chainlink. So that was really our story, but it's been different for everybody, and we're just very excited to be here.
I think I'd like to add that we were already pretty excited about it because it was the first project that was really recognizing the need for putting data on chain, which back then was something that was, in essence, a really big thing, but not really actual yet because there were no users yet. And in that sense, it was really visionary. And we're really happy to join as one of the first and see the growth through all the networks and all the whole ecosystem kind of thing. But yeah, kind of the past years have proven how big the need for data on chain really is, and really excited about what's coming next, basically.
Yeah. We've been community members since 2017, turned community node operators in 21. We've helped create the Gains Network custom decentralized Oracle network, which rolled us into becoming verified Chainlink node operators and just building stuff like, we mainly do custom solutions, so we've been an OG Chainlink only node operator. We've been recently just expanding in the space, building real estate oracles, and utilizing Chainlink technology.
Yeah, I think our story is very similar to these guys. We're working with a lot of decentralized Oracle networks that were really subpar, honestly, early on, and we ended up getting a great introduction through some networking and other types of things that got us involved within Chainlink, and we've just been over impressed with the quality of the services that we're able to provide through the infrastructure that exists. So it's been great. Yeah.
Patrick, you want?
Yeah, not a great deal to add, but I guess early on seeing a lot of the sort of visionary and future use cases of smart contracts, especially those that affected the real world. Sergey always went on about like the crop insurance smart contracts, for example, and around those early days, we were investigating like agricultural insurance smart contracts, and being a part of a network that facilitated the expansion of data sets and applications was something that certainly inspired us to join the group. And it's fantastic to have just continued to see that grow, and it does still feel like we're right at the very beginning. So eagerly looking forward to what the next sort of 5-10 years of use cases, and if we end up in that world, or when we end up in that world of seeing those agricultural smart contracts that Sergey always spoke about in the earlier presentations.
Yeah, I think a lot of the folks on this stage actually joined early and helped us build to where we are today. Meaning it wasn't only about running the infrastructure, it was also about giving feedback, helping us drive directions. I still remember many of you joining. I still remember when you guys joined ETHUSD, when it was 2019 maybe, back in the very early days, and you always got feedback, you always got input on how to actually grow and scale. And now we are here today, and I think that was really a team effort with node operators helping us build throughout these years. Now, let's discuss a bit more around the difference between running a Chainlink node and running other software. Many of you folks are doing validation on blockchain networks. What's the main difference between validating state and feeding data or feeding automation when you're running a Chainlink node?
I can have a go at that. I think for us, in the end, software is software. I think we kind of think we specialized in running software. I think you could give us any software you would want to run 24/7, and we'll be able to do it. That said, the devil's in the details. So the big difference between validating networks and something like Chainlink today would be with regards to staking and actually being able to lose your own money or other people's money, where Chainlink, you secure value in a different way. So the way we secure value is DeFi applications using the data we are providing, which can sometimes be a bit harder to see, I guess, because there's no direct relation between the things you do and the value you secure. But it's equally important, and we treat it the same in the sense. I think another thing that I'd like to call out is the Chainlink development team, which is really great. I think Chainlink can pride themselves on having one of the best development teams in the world. And that makes a huge difference as well. You know, the software is constantly improving. It's kind of easy to run, to keep running. And Chainlink listens to feedback, and that's really it's really valuable.
Yeah, Elliot, go ahead, Derek. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, and it's always been, you know, with the constant reiterations, and there's always, you know, when there's new products like CCIP and things like this coming out, you know, that's a whole new stream of logs and stream of data that's going to be coming in through your nodes, and so you always have to make sure that you understand what the purpose of all this stuff is, so that you can monitor it properly, and it's just always ever evolving, you know. It's blockchains, they do one thing and they do it quite well, but as long as you're keeping track of what's being done by those blockchains, then you've really got it covered. Whereas now, you know, with a Chainlink node, you're always going to need to, you know, you need to monitor your data feeds, your external adapters, the nodes themselves, the blockchain nodes. So there's just a lot more complication going on, and just a lot more need to be on top of every little aspect of it to ensure that, you know, because if we're redundant and we're performant, then we can ensure that the whole network stays, you know, in the immaculate state that it's been for 5 years at this point.
Right. Plus, like dependencies on third parties from an exchange perspective, and the bridge updaters, and kind of there's a lot of integration there that has to come together to be able to produce some valid on-chain data. So yeah, it's a lot more moving parts. I think it was kind of the other area. So if a blockchain node is running, it's kind of running and it's producing. But in this sense, where you have 3 or 4 different actors that are playing roles that all need to be monitored and watched, like you said.
I think a unique component is your, less so nowadays, but definitely back when it was kicking off, you're a gas guzzler. So it's pretty, you learn about the networks and congestion pretty firsthand, and that's one unique insight that I think a lot of people operating full nodes in different capacities don't really get the full extent of how a network feels and looks from a transaction perspective. So that's certainly been a great component to learn about when operating a Chainlink node.
I mean, the main difference from a financial perspective is that with traditional validators, you only secure one chain or a set of nodes, but with Chainlink, it's so widespread across all of the DeFi applications and 15 chains and all the services. So you contribute in a way broader perspective in the whole DeFi ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. I think there is a lot of learning experiences, for sure, right? And another operator going through running Chainlink actually goes through learning about a lot of systems, right? From data to multiple chains. The monitoring has to be on point. Maybe you guys can tell us a bit more about what were really the secrets, the main things, which allowed you to keep performing and ensuring your node is always up, your node is always running through all the crazy times the industry has gone on, from the gas spikes on Ethereum to the airdrops, NFTs, which were spiking everything also. Tell us a bit more about how you kept it running throughout all these years.
I mean, for us, it's always been, it's a constant learning, and you run into new situations, and that gives you the ammo and the ideas that you need to change your monitoring and observing. But really, it's just trying to keep track of everything. We attach lots of monitors to just about every aspect of what we do, and so we know where the parameters and thresholds are, where something needs to get looked at, and then it's just a matter of looking at it. And I mean, the great thing about the Chainlink software is it's very good at telling you exactly what is happening. So you always, if you take the time to actually dig through the logs and to understand exactly what's going on, then you can troubleshoot quite quickly and quite easily, and and then you understand where to set your thresholds and what you actually need to monitor for, and then that allows you to be a little bit hands off once in a while.
Yeah, I'd like to add two things there. I think the first is not sleep. That's proven to be a very successful way of running a Chainlink node, which is not because of the Chainlink software, but mainly because of the ecosystem that we're living in. And the second thing I think is very important is the community. What I really like about Chainlink, always liked about it, is the great community we have. So all the node operators kind of work together with the Chainlink team to keep everything up and running. And even if your node might be doing something not really good, chances are that a fellow node operator is going to reach out to you and tell you hey, you should look at this, or can we help you with something like that? And I guess the applause says enough, yeah.
I mean, the whole Chainlink community is about being cooperative. We've now been doing monthly calls with close to all of the node operators and sharing insights and knowledge with each other, and trying to create new tooling and give feedback to Chainlink to feature requests. So if the whole community of node operators just continues to work together as we are now, we can see the ecosystem evolve more rapidly.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was also just going to say that I think that the best part about the node operator community and really the Chainlink community at large is that we all understand that there is one overarching goal of this whole process, and that is to keep truth accurate, uptime 100%, all the time. And so if we all understand that that is the goal, then we all understand that we can just help each other. And it's not this, doesn't have to be this hyper competitive, full greed, trying to get every little bit better than the next guy, right? And as long as all our nodes and we can help each other and we're all improving, then the network's improving and we have a better service for the clients and the people who use it. So it's a really refreshing place to be.
Yeah, and even as OCR gets more mature and those types of things, I think we're starting to apply that to CCIP and other types of areas that maybe that monitoring doesn't exist yet, but we're finding different ways to do that and providing feedback. And that's really good to take that I guess that even for us it's just less than 2 years, but take that experience and apply it to a whole new product set is cool.
Yeah, I think this alignment has always been critical for us since the very early days, actually. The mentality was always, how do we grow? Not how do we compete on this small pie, but how do we actually grow? And that was since the days we had 2, 3 DeFi protocols using Chainlink to the days we're at today, where 2,000 protocols are using on a daily basis, right? And that mentality is node operators embraced it. It has, how do we get more protocols, more usage, more chains? How do we grow the system? Because if we all grow, we all benefit, and the whole industry as a whole benefits. And I think that's been critical not to have this hyper-competitive mindset, which a lot of networks have. Yeah. Perfect. Now, tell us a bit more about your experience over the last several years, right? We've seen many things over the last years. How do you think things have changed since the day you started as a node operator?
That seems like that's directed at Peter.
Oh, that's directed. I mean, the last 6 months is already like 20 crazy things happening, right? So,
I mean, I can go first for sure. I think, boy, what a question. I think change is the new constant in not just our operation, and not just in the ecosystem, but maybe in the world. I mean, with COVID, we've seen. Well, I don't want to get into the whole COVID thing, but I mean, the world at large is changing so rapidly that all you can do is just try to keep up with all the change, with everything. And I think I personally enjoy that a lot. And I think our team really enjoys that a lot. There's nothing like waking up in the morning and not knowing what you're going to do the rest of the day. And I think that's kind of been the same for years. So we've went from a direct requests to Flux Monitor to OCR, and I loved every step of it, and it's constantly improving. And that's as long as we're doing that, I'm happy.
Yeah, the role Chainlink has been playing in the whole DeFi ecosystem and bringing it up step by step has been pretty vital, because without Chainlink we wouldn't have the DeFi ecosystem we have today. So as a community member and as a node operator, it's great to see how we went from the price feeds to automation, VRF, CCIP, functions, and now the low latency oracles. So seeing how Chainlink essentially flaps its wings and becomes a more central part of the whole of Web3 is really great to see happen in real time.
what are some of the next big things coming up you're most excited about?
Pretty keen to see a bunch of innovative CCIP apps get rolled out. Certainly, there's a lot of innovation that can open up, and that I'm aware a lot of teams are building at the moment that over the next 1-2 years will be in production. So seeing what that does for things like DeFi liquidity, or seeing what that does for gaming in the industry as well, I think we're going to look like a very different industry in 2 to 3 years' time, due to some of the unlocks that Chainlink's bringing to the table through CCIP and functions and everything else. So excited to keep abreast of that and see how it evolves.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard, but there was a little bit of a regulation issue in the United States. So I think that over the next, I don't know, I think it's maybe 4 to 8 years, but I think Chainlink plays a large role in that, in terms of driving towards some sort of finality there. I think it creates, CCIP creates creates additional trust. It creates avenues towards some sort of answer. And I think that's an extremely positive thing. So to play a small role in that, I think that's really exciting for us.
Yeah, exactly. CCIP was like the missing piece of the puzzle that essentially enables everything and starts a scale of hypergrowth. So having that cross-chain governance modules, having those cross-chain DEXs and the TradFi that can enter with their bank chains is really like kickstarting a new era of Chainlink essentially, and DeFi as a whole.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean really just bringing everything together where, I think there was a grand vision of crypto right from the beginning of kind of maybe eating traditional financial systems. And, there was a period for, kind of the last few years up until recently where no one was really sure whether there would be the crypto world and then the rest of the world, and if these things would ever mix in any real shape or form. But I think that, if you're a regulator or if you're, a large institution, you can see that there is actually a way to do this, to make it secure and to make it reliable. And, so that opens up just a floodgate of possibilities and for everyone. And it's, like Patrick said, it's going to be way different in 5 years than it is today. And it's amazing to just kind of play our little part and just to be able to see that actually grow, because I think for a lot of people on this stage and probably a lot of people in the audience, that's what we are more interested in is something that actually brings real value to the world, and doesn't just exist in its own little niche somewhere. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a critical part with CCIP. Our industry has been living in silo for a long time, and there are two goals with CCIP. First one is break the silos within the crypto industry, which is very important, right? Because if you're not breaking the silos, people are using unsafe solutions or their liquidity is siloed. So that's one thing. And the second thing is actually connect the crypto world to the outside world. Mm-hmm. And that's what really brings us to adoption. That's what really moves the industry forward. That's why it really makes crypto go mainstream. That's the dreams people were talking about a few years ago, which we actually have an avenue to make happen now. Because now people are tokenizing stuff. Once they tokenize these assets, these real-world assets, they realize, oh, okay, my real-world asset is on one chain. How do I get it on the other chain? And the folks who do that, institutions, they have very high security standards. They're not going to use a random solution. They're going to use something like CCIP, right? And that's, I think, really the opportunity for all of us on stage today. In the next 5 years, you might actually witness the adoption we've been dreaming about for the last 5 years, which is very exciting for all of us. Tell me more about how node operators are actually preparing for this future. So for CCIP, for instance, you need to run the software of multiple blockchains, right? Mm-hmm. How do you scale your infrastructure to be able to support 10, 50, 100 chains in the future?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've understood that this was the end goal from the beginning. So we've always designed our systems with scalability in mind, and whether it be a lot of horizontal scaling and having more and more blockchains, or whether you need to scale vertically and just have a ton of throughput on one area, we've made sure that right from the beginning that we're ready for all that. So bring on more chains, bring on the bank chains. We're ready, and I'm sure all these guys are as well.
Yeah, I think likewise. You can't build an infrastructure like this if you don't keep those things in mind. So both on horizontal and vertical scaling. We're ready for basically anything you throw at us. So that's a challenge.
Anything.
Famous last words.
Exactly. And on the security side, I think one of the things that we've always believed in is physical security as well. So we personally run everything in a DC that's behind lock and bars, which we think is a good addition to making things really secure. Whenever real banking chains are coming in, they don't want you to run their app in Google Cloud, for example. At least I'm expecting them not to. So yeah, also on that level, I think we're ready to play game.
Yeah, I mean, we Chainlink node operators always align with the vision of Chainlink of being like the industry standard and being on hundreds and thousands of chains, facilitating CCIP, running price feeds, running all the Chainlink services. So we already had that in mind when we became node operators. So using that knowledge, we've built our systems to scale horizontally and grow with Chainlink together.
Yeah, I think the technical considerations are certainly extremely important, both from a redundancy perspective and security. It'll be interesting to see what the demands of these entities, these mythical entities, these banks, are going to be with respect to things like compliance. I think we've operated in an enjoyably so Wild West to many respects over the last 5 years, and things like ISO and SOC and certain standards of operating that are very normal for a lot of financial services industry businesses are likely to start to become relevant for groups like us that are operating on the edge. So that's probably something that's going to become more relevant if I was to hazard a guess.
That's a good question too. And like, what part of that is actually under, say, an ISMS? Is it each individual operator? Is it the solution? And I think those are good questions that are going to have to be answered too. Yeah.
And we'll be together to figure it all out.
Yeah.
On Slack. That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we're probably at the last question. For any aspiring node operator who's looking to start running nodes, providing data, etc., what would be some advice you can give them to start their journey?
Well, that's a good one. That's actually how we became verified node operators. We started out in the Discord and just help as many developers as you can to Chainlink their Sundays project and go on testnet, try to get on mainnet. If you can build a track record with clients you've interacted with and you can help them facilitate their data transactions on mainnet, you can, like us, you can grow and participate in custom decentralized Oracle network, create real custom solutions like a real estate Oracle, for example. And then with your track record, Chainlink will notice, they will see the work you put in. And all you need is a video call to essentially flow into the node operator community and start operating the OCR feeds.
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty similar entrance. You know, we participated in the Oracle Olympics, and that was what got us to where we are. But before that, we were doing the same things. You know, we tried to really support the hackathons. Is obviously a huge thing to do. You know, those guys are going to be busy building their projects, so if they have a node they can plug into, that's going to be very good for them. And then you can help along with that as well. And who knows where that might end up. And yeah, and really just being available. You know, and the nice thing about when you're kind of starting off on some of these test nets and these hackathon style projects is that gives you a chance to actually battle test your nodes a little bit as well, and then you'll realize like, oh, we need to monitor this, we need to monitor that, and then so, you know, when the day comes and, you know, you get a chance to compete in the Oracle Olympics or you just get the call itself, then, you know, you're very well prepared. And, you know, there's, like Kublai said, there's lots of custom dons that are getting spun up for various reasons, and yeah, if you can, you know, set yourself apart and make yourself available, then you know, I'm sure people will be inviting you into those as well.
Yeah, and I get that question also about when people want to start different validators on different types of chains, and I always also give them the advice that like running a node is one thing, but running nodes at 24/365 is a totally different thing. And when you don't really have an exit plan, right, you're not like thinking this is a 5-year thing, this is a 25 or a 30 or a 50-year type of obligation, it's something not to be taken lightly either. And so I would say, you know, on the technical side, it's about automation and redundancy and like really strong architecture. Start with something small and build those things out, and make sure that it's something that you really want to be able to do for a very long time.
Yeah, take it seriously.
Take it seriously, because it is a real commitment. I'm sure there's pager duty. Everybody has their phone on stage, and no matter what, like even if you're not on call, you're on call, right? And
yeah.
So it's a real commitment.
24/7.
It is, no matter what your role is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually very good advice. If you want to be a node operator,
Make sure you want to be.
make sure you want to be a node operator.
You got to be dedicated and you need to be persistent, and
Yes.
and then it just all falls together.
That's right.
Fully agree. And I think you guys have been through the whole experience and you know what it entails, right? So it's tough, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
perfect. Any last word, guys? Anything else to close this panel?
I mean, I'd just love to thank you guys for putting on another great event. You know, thanks for building all this awesome software that we run, and, you know, really pushing this whole ecosystem forward. You know, I couldn't imagine what the state of crypto would be without Chainlink these days. I mean, it would. I guess that eventually a good solution would arise, but it would just it'd just be hacks everywhere, and, you know, and then DeFi couldn't even get off the ground. So yeah, I couldn't imagine the world any other way now. And you know, so just want to say thanks for, you know, giving us the chance to even prove ourselves as node operators as well. And, you know, the way that you guys run things has been fantastic.
We're all in this together, right?
Yeah, we're all in this together, and I think you guys can all be super proud of what we've achieved together in the last few years, because this would not be possible without you guys either. So thank you, and I think we're all growing DeFi and growing the space together, and that's really for the best of everyone. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jonas.
Thank you.